of Monix, and today it's a great day, a wonderful day with four amazing men on Monix, and they are here to answer some juicy questions on expectations in marriage. And before I start, I will be grateful if my guests can introduce themselves to you. I'm starting from the left with Mr. Okay.
Baby Solar.
And Akimumi Allow. Francis Older.
Okay. Did you say Francis?
Yes, his name is Francis.
Oh, really? Sorry, I thought your only name was Aziz, but
I have a lot of Francis.
Francis. Okay,
Francis.
Great, amazing. So we have the female version or the ladies edition of this Q&A earlier, and today we just want to have a rounding of what expectations in marriage should be all about. So we are interviewing our men today, and to start with, I just want to know if any of our men had expectations from their spouse before they got married. So when I say expectations, like what you expected from your spouse, like, okay, should she look at you every morning and say, oh, my king, handsome, you look so beautiful, you look so bright, you know, like expected her to always cook fresh food for you every blessed day, or you expected her to, you know, always tie your shoelace in the morning when you're on your way to work, give you a peck when you're back from work. I just want to have an idea. So did you have any of those expectations or more before you got married? Mr. Lau, do you want to start?
No.
Okay, Mr. The ball has been pushed to your court.
You see that what we're expecting when we're younger is quite different from what will happen.
Okay.
So realistically, now that one is older, and you just realize that expectation changes, and it's just about respect. Okay. Mutual respect.
Okay.
That's just it.
All right. Okay. Before I move on to the next guest, I just want to know if you what are some of those expectations you had from your spouse before you guys got married?
Spouse?
Yeah, from your wife. Yes. So while you were dating, were there some expectations, like you expected her to be like, totally respectful?
No. When I said expectation changes, expectation change, I meant while younger, like as a teenager. Yeah. So like you've outgrown all of that, so you didn't even expect that before you got married. Okay. Baby Sola, so did you have expectations before you got married?
What I would like to say is, like you rightly said, I mean, when you're younger, you have a lot of fantasies, and you want your wife to tuck you into bed before you sleep. You want, you wake up with a kiss on your forehead and stuff like that. But like you rightly said, the realities are different. I don't even have time to be talking to them, So, I think I'll just go with him. Like, it's all about mutual respect, because everything changes. I mean, reality is different from everybody can fantasize, but reality is quite different. So, the expectations are just the major things, like the usual. Just let's keep the house clean. I wouldn't even want to put all this thing on my spouse, but let's just keep the house clean. Let's just do everything with a lot of respect.
Doesn't matter who does it.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, it's that's just the way I see it.
Thank you, Mr. Lau.
Wow. Thank you for doing this anyway. And, well, my expectation was high before I got married anyway. I'm this traditional shaman, that expect to eat fresh food every day. As a prince. Well, not really. I grew up in a home that we cook soup every day.
Oh, shit.
And fresh from the fresh. And I never experienced using microwave.
Amazing.
Welcome to reality.
When I met my wife, marrying her was one of the best decisions I ever made. She met up to the expectation, and we live in a dynamic world.
Right.
I grew up that those old expectations and fantasy that, oh, you want this, you want that. The only expectation that I later or ever expect, that I still expect, and that she is still matching up to, is ability to endure, endure my funny things sometimes. Ability to endure each other, tolerate that, what do I call it? Our differences. Yes.
Sounds good. Thank you. Mr. Francis, over to you.
I think the question is about
Expectations before getting married.
yeah, which I think is for married people, not for those
Okay,
that
yeah.
are engaged
Okay,
or-
we know that you're not yet married, but you are engaged or you're in a relationship. So what are some of the expectations you had before getting into a relationship with your partner?
In terms of expectations, you can't expect everybody to fit in 100% into those things.
Your fantasies.
Your personal
Not
expectations.
even fantasies, because it's something that you think is possible.
Right.
So, but in reality, there's theoretical and there's practical. So
Shit.
when you made up 50%, then so some of those
You're
things, some of those things are like everyone has said, mutual respect. That's key. Number one, loyalty.
Oh shit.
That is also very important, and tolerating each other differences. We were born in different homes, different background. There are times you even have different ideological differences,
Right.
religion,
Right.
culture. So what is a taboo in your culture might be normal in mine, but that should be respected.
Facts. I like that. Thank you so much. Okay, so that takes me to the next question, which is that do you even think that it's normal, or should one even have expectations? And for once married to last, should those expectations be met? So let me rephrase my question. Generally, should people have expectations before going into marriage? Like, I expect my wife to do this, I expect my husband to do this. Is that normal? Is this something normal? And if it's normal, or if it's right, if your spouse eventually doesn't meet one or two or all the expectations, do you think that is enough to break the marriage?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be because
It depends.
it depends. That we are individual. We have individual differences. Like
Right.
one might piss you off and you walk out of that relationship, might not.
The other person might not react the same.
Yeah.
React.
So guys shouldn't listen to your friend saying, "Oh, if I'm the one, if it is me, I won't take this." Don't compare yourself.
Well,
with
you
the other
know,
person.
do we win?
You know.
Like,
Be yourself.
Right.
Be yourself. Have your own
You are
pattern.
doing well.
The fact that somebody says, "Oh, if my wife takes my phone, it's this," and if your wife, you don't have problem for your wife taking your phones or that, then you shouldn't, because somebody said that, you should now make that part of your own standard or expectation.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself, and we all change.
Okay.
If what you said before, if she makes you happy, that is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just quickly ask this question, Mr. Ayo. So, are there expectations that if your wife doesn't meet them, they are enough to warrant a break in the marriage? I just want to know. There won't be a break. We don't pray for that. But what are some of those expectations that you feel like if she doesn't meet up to, it might affect the marriage?
No, I'm very liberal, I'm very dynamic.
Flexible.
Okay. You don't have to be apologetic about it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just reflecting. I'm just
Yeah.
reflecting. Like,
What if she slaps you?
Okay. I like that. That was short and succinct. Mr. Agbeni, What about you?
Oh, like Baragon.
Yeah, you know, like we said earlier, and I think I'll just use this expression, like reality is different, fantasy is different from the reality. I mean, everybody's free to fantasize. I mean, as a child, I dreamt I was going to drive a limousine to my wedding and live in a big house and live in I mean, it's free, you know, to have expectations, you know. That my wife is going to wear a crown on her head and wear a gold ring and gold chain, and but all those things are not like, you know, when you grow old you realize that's not how life is. And it's a give and take. You know, nobody's, I mean, all those people that say, oh, this person is made perfectly for me. Nobody's made perfectly for another person. They work things out. Yep. So that's the way, I mean,
Word.
My parents, I watched them grow. They are not perfect because they are from the same town, but they had different, you know, they grew up in different environments, but they made things work. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you don't really have, even twins, they don't have the same character. They don't have the same attitude towards things. They just make things work. So I mean, for me, it's all about how flexible you can be. There are a lot of things you can overlook. I mean, your wife can slap you and you go crazy, but a lady, you know, on the street, maybe you have an encounter with a lady and she slaps you and you're trying to act like a gentleman and you rub it and you just walk away. I mean, you could have taken that if it was your wife.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can take anything.
Oh yeah.
You know, so for me, I think it just depends on how flexible you want to bend over backwards to take a lot of things. So
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to some follow-up questions that I have on that. But now,
I thought it was
Mr.
three
Lau, sorry?
I thought it was 3 questions.
Oh, sorry, we have a few more to go. Mr. Lau, I just want to know, do you think couples should discuss what they expect from each other before they get into marriage?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay, so in the event that they don't have that conversation before getting married, at what point do you think they should have the conversation?
Honestly, it's just like signing a contract. You want to read the contract before you sign. So there's not an excuse. You don't have any excuse for not having such conversation before. You know, before she say I do or you say, you know, will you be my wife? Before you know, for us to go and like, will you marry me? You need to have those conversations. You need to know what the person's expectation is in life. Those are the things that will make you to evaluate the compatibility.
Yeah.
Do we have similar dreams?
For example,
Do we have, you know,
I mean, you want to get married to a woman that wants like 10 kids, and you want like 2.
and you want
It's
to?
going to be a problem.
Exactly. You understand? These are
So that takes me back to the previous question, because what I gathered from what most of you said was
The last question, right?
that expectations don't really matter. So in
and
this
second,
event,
yeah, I want to say something.
Okay.
You know, as regards to that,
Okay.
is expectations. Well, he said there's nothing his wife can do, whatever that can warrant whatever. See, me, one thing is loyalty. I don't play with loyalty.
That's big.
I'm very big, even among my friends. I try to be loyal
And you expect the
as
same.
much as, and I expect the same back. If you slap me, I can deal with it. Deal with it with love. If you're not loyal, if I find out you've been, not being honest and being sneaky, then
Okay.
voila,
Mr. Haya, how would you react to that? How would you react to the issue of loyalty?
I've nailed that.
You know, the thing is that after dating for a while, you kind of know the person you don't.
Exactly.
I mean,
No, we just talking generally. We're not
yeah,
talking
that's
about
what-
our
I mean,
spouse
it's-
now.
Yeah,
Just
that's what I'm
generally.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
You know,
It's
to know what is
it's
going
not
on.
something
They are
that
paying
has
too much
ever crossed
attention.
my mind.
Exactly.
That can ever happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not something I've even
Thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not
No, we
entertained or
just,
something.
you know.
Okay.
You are paying too much attention.
Okay, because I know that you all are in a hurry to leave. I have just one question to go. So I just want you to advise intending couples, young people who are still dating, just advise them on what advise them on generally on expectations in marriage and what the reality actually is in marriage.
Oh, well, I have just one thing.
Okay.
For ladies, especially, they should try as much as possible to forget about all these breakfast in bed.
It's pushing.
Yeah, they open the door for me.
I feel like, I mean, it's no big deal if you are actually. But one thing personally, what thing I hate is when you're actually expecting me to open the door for me. I can open. I don't have any issue.
That's why people say I'm not
But when
romantic.
you are not
I do it all the
waiting,
time.
like it's my duty.
I do it.
Chivalry.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, like I can open the door, I can do that. But all those kind of breakfast in bed kind of thing. I mean,
Wake up to reality.
yeah.
I have to go to work.
Smell the coffee. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, ladies.
those are things you
Mr.
see in
Haya just
movies and
said-
all that.
I have to go to work.
I'm
Men
telling
can
you.
I'm not
provide
even
you.
eating breakfast.
Men can provide you breakfast in bed, but don't make it
Don't
an
push it.
expectation. Don't push it.
Don't push
Mr.
it.
Bailey, what about you? What's your advice for intending couples on expectations and reality in marriage?
They should open their eyes. Not like you. You know? For me, I keep talking about fantasy. Wake up and, to the reality. People there are no two persons that are the same. It's all about working things out. It's all about compromise. It's all about bending over backwards and doing backflips sometimes to accommodate the other person. Because, people that act all crazy and all tough,
Yeah.
they take those shit from some people.
Oh yeah.
But they tell you, if my wife does this, I'm going to break her head. Whereas there's another lady breaking his head somewhere, and you can't even say anything.
Yeah.
So so it's just all about being accommodating. Yeah, be realistic with your expectations, which is something that's very rare these days. Every girl wants a guy that drives a Maserati and lives in the White House.
Bone straight hair.
So if you
Ladies, don't expect bone straight.
it's good to fantasize, but if you find a hardworking guy, cool-headed guy, working hard.
Another thing, please, just try as much as possible to forget about all this six-pack thing.
Okay, Mr. La, over to you.
Well, I would just say there should be hope for change. Like, as we grow, our taste or expectation change, and our behavior, attitude towards life, changes as well.
Right.
Your husband probably like rice with stew now. Don't be surprised. Maybe 3, 4, 5 months, a year.
Likes it fried.
I like it fried.
And you start asking questions.
Exactly.
Did you eat it somewhere?
I just use that as an example.
Change is the
I'll
only
be ready
thing constant.
to exactly
Like,
constant. You should be ready to to go with the flow.
Right.
You know.
Mr. Francis, we
You're
want you
paying
to
too
wrap
much
up with
attention.
this.
Do something else.
Like we
too much
said
attention.
earlier, you just have to be yourself. You don't have to expect everybody
Everyone
should be
there.
100%. Or you also should be able to contribute into the relationship.
Right.
Bring in something that you are worth. Show your worth in the relationship. Show it why the guy chose you. There are thousands of you out there.
Amazing.
Like my friend said, go with the flow.
Right.
Very close.
Thank you, our dear men. I'm so grateful to have you.
you.
You all did so well. But one thing I want to say before you all leave is this. Please give me a minute. I just want to say to you that we know that you expect your women to be understanding, to bring their own best foot forward, to understand that change is the only constant thing in life. But
Our flat tummy.
I just want to say that ladies expect you to tell them they look beautiful. Ladies expect you to tell them that they are the best in the world.
What if you tell them
So-
and they're like, I know some people that do like that.
Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But just those things don't cost you
Why can't you
anything.
cook for us to do?
Those things don't cost you anything. So try once in a while to do it. And then I have a mentor who always tells me that in our own marriage, she says to her husband, love me the way I want to be loved. So if your wife tells you, I want you to love me this way, make an effort. We don't expect you to do it 100%, but just make an effort. And also, men, we know that you don't express your emotions many times, but when you do have those emotions, and then you feel like you want your wife to understand, to do one thing or the other, try to express your emotions, communicate, so that the woman can do what he can do to help in that regard.
There are also people who are men who feel weights.
Can we express everything that is going on now?
It depends on you. Most
Are you sure you are ready to
Without being sanctioned.
Personally, in my own marriage, I would expect my spouse to express his emotions,
Don't mention.
his
No, we're not talking about
his
emotions.
ideas.
No, we're not talking about
Yes.
emotions in particular. We're talking about everything that is going on in your head.
I don't mind. That's why we are in a marriage.
Don't
It's a
mention.
union, and we are a team. We work together.
No,
So
it's
you
a-
should
no,
be able to
no,
express
it's
yourself to me.
Sometimes ladies have the tendency of, I'm trying to be diplomatic this time, to talk a little bit too much, too long or something. Can you, sometimes you be like, can you cut it short?
Yes. So in that situation, that's where
Okay,
that's where communication comes in. Feel free to express to your spouse that you are not in that mind space to have a long conversation. That you can have that conversation at a later time. It's easier said than done, but it's very good to communicate that.
Sometimes lady will say, "Oh, say it, just say it, just
if
say
you
it."
say
But
that-
when you actually say it,
If you say that, you sacrificed your dinner, breakfast.
But that is
Okay.
wrong. People shouldn't do that. You shouldn't.
I agree with you,
You
Mr.
shouldn't
Francis,
punish someone
for
being
expressing
honest.
themselves.
For being honest,
It's not even punish alone.
You are
That's
talking about
starvation.
you are
It's
talking
crime
about an
against
ideal
humanity.
situation.
Yeah.
And we all know that
Crime against
ideal
humanity.
situation.
Yes,
ideal-
starvation.
Okay, ladies, this is new to me. Don't starve your spouse. If they
That
say
is very
something wrong or something you don't like, or they don't express themselves in the proper manner to you, starving your spouse is not the right way to go.
Our parents don't do that to our fathers. Even in the olden days, even when they do something wrong,
Even if they married the second wife.
even if they marry the fifth wife.
Oh, yes.
I'm out of here. Peace. Thank you, guys. Thank you, men. We love you.
No.